childhood up, we have had to conform to a certain social game. And so we're in a constant state of competition. Good assistance, secret. You can't make a mistake.
Hi guys, welcome to Friends of Failure podcast. I'm Megan, and today we've kind of changed it up. It's not Sam bringing us in. It's my best friend, my queen, my lovely lady, Amy.
Hi.
You kind of did my little callback. Look at that.
Well, you say you're like more like a heyo, and I don't think I can do that and still make it look cool. So
I don't make it look cool, so the pressure is low.
maybe if you added in the finger guns like I did.
I think I do half the time, and it doesn't bring it
register.
Up. No.
We do have the pointy fingers, so maybe
Yeah,
they think
now.
yeah.
They're
See, honestly,
scabby.
Yeah, if you finger pointed at me, I would feel a little intimidated, to be quite honest.
Yeah, for listener context, I have long nails from a wedding that was recently had. And it's new. I haven't gotten my nails done in probably 2 years. So
they're very Halloween-y. They kind of look like those little vampire blood dip nails. You know what I'm talking about?
That was kind of what I was going for. I dig it.
Goal achieved.
Yeah. Spooky time was had. Well, for context for everyone here, we used to have a podcast.
Yes.
We were kind of the origin story of what is now Friends of Failure. Fragile Freaks.
Still out there.
I haven't taken it down. I don't necessarily want to listen to it, but I'm proud of whatever it is.
Whoever's out there is still listening to it, if they are in fact listening to it.
There are some people.
I told my husband about it, because I think we touched on this a bit the last time I recorded with you and Sam, but I was telling my husband about it. I was like, yeah, it's always like this really weird dark memory that I don't really remember of. I was in a podcast. I think we had
dark
10
memory.
episodes. Well, it's not a dark memory. It's just those things that you don't think about. Holy shit, that was a whole phase of my life, and I really forget about it all the time, and I don't know why.
It makes me think. The dark makes me think it's like a true crime kind of intro. She didn't even remember when she recorded audio for 14 episodes.
Was it 14?
It was 14, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. We made it.
Fact check that later because I feel like it's 10.
No, I'm pretty sure we made it to 14.
Wow.
There's maybe 10 decent ones. Good
That's
ones.
Fair. That's a fair. Yeah, that might be a fair assessment. Yeah.
Some throwaways in there, but that's what we're all about. There, you got to keep those failures out there. Gotta own them. I heard from a little birdie, possibly my husband, that you had a big old failure recently.
Jeff's such a tattletale is the problem.
He loved to gloat about it, yeah.
But you know what? I knew what I was doing was wrong. So the fact that I'm having to suffer consequences from my actions makes sense. One, I feel like I was set up for failure. I think Jeff did me dirty initially when he was giving the directions. And two, I this kind of I do feel manipulated by the system because I'm not so technologically advanced. I didn't pass that class in high school,
I feel like there's a lot of avoidance. You kind of owned it at the beginning, and then
I did take. I understand what I did was wrong. Okay, let me explain it because it sounds like I committed murder or something. All I wanted to do was watch the Astros game, and I didn't even really want to watch it. My husband wanted to watch it, and he was like, "No, this is why I got rid of DirecTV. It's really expensive, and it's just all dumb." He's like, "And I like listening to it. It's not a big deal. I'll just listen to it." And I was like, well, we're not fucking paupers. And I remember when we all lived together, I was like, Jeff watched the game all the time. And you guys never had DirecTV. So all I was gonna ask was what website do you go to watch the game the way you do? And he sent me to some sketchy ass website. And I tried to log in. It was like, hey, you're good to log in. just make an account with us, and don't worry, you're not going to be charged. We just need a credit card on file. And I was like, well, that's odd, but Jeff sent me to this website, and I trust Jeff, or at least I did.
I think you both trusted each other too much in this scenario.
I feel like
because it was a
I feel
pop-up. Like you definitely like the scammers got you on that pop-up on the website that had the actual non-legal, whatever you want to call it, stream of media that is not.
Well, I don't even know what it is. Like, I don't even know how I get back to it. It's the problem. Like,
you go to the original and you don't sign into anything.
Yeah, no, I understand that part now. But like, I feel like everybody has a little bit to blame. I mean, even you, really, if we want to boil down to it.
I wasn't even involved in this conversation.
You know me. You know me. You know that I don't know things about the computer community.
Am I supposed to? So I'm supposed to have spidey senses of like, Amy's doing something stupid. Jeff didn't explain it fully. Gotta intervene.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. This is what not.
You can't call yourself Mama Teapot and then not be a good mother.
Well, way to just out my high school nickname. We're going deep. Some deep cuts right out of the gate. Someone's mad a little bit.
Not mad. I'm just saying there's plenty of blame to share. And what's sharing if not caring?
All I'll say is that sometimes you just got to take full responsibility and, move
I refuse
forward.
to do that. It was part of it was totally Jeff's fault.
Oh my God. He's going to listen to this and be like, she's full of shit.
But he told me after the fact, after he sent me to that shady website, then he was like, you need a pop-up blocker. And I'm assuming because I'm in school right now, like it was online school, you have to, okay. So
enable
a pop-up,
yeah.
Yes. Like, and I was like, oh, well, I'm already good on that, so I shouldn't have to worry about that. And then I did it, and he was like, no, you fucking idiot. Because like Jeff started he quickly shifted into dad mode, and he was like, shut it down, close all your accounts, all of it. He was like, lock your card. He's like, get a new debit card. All of it. He was like, change your email, change your life, take your address.
Move. Yeah. He showed me the whole conversation like after the fact. He like called me in the room and he's like, Megan. And I just started scrolling and I was like, no. It just kept getting worse. And then I could see you struggling.
See, what's funny is he was so dramatic about it. And when I told Jake about it, he was just like, oh, that's silly. He's like, you shouldn't have done that.
I think for Jeff, it's like a core belief because he's an IT guy. Like that is the root of all evil, that kind of stuff.
That's fair.
Internet security might get under his skin a little bit.
See, now that we just have this ongoing joke at home where he's like, did you give any other Nigerian princes money today?
You're like, actually, I did.
I did it today.
He was super nice, but I said no. Boundaries, healthy boundaries.
I'm sorry. Healthy boundaries?
I was a sorry transition.
Well, no, it's just how did you have healthy boundaries?
Are you talking about us or with the Nigerian prince?
No, I'm talking about your hand gesture as you said healthy boundaries.
Oh, I don't even know. Oh, yeah,
there it is.
See it.
There it is. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awareness, Megan.
I don't know what I'm doing with my hands when I get excited. So
I love that about you.
Let's not take that out of context. Jesus. Yeah, this is gonna be the raunchiest episode.
Oh, this can't be the raunchiest episode.
I mean, we keep it pretty above board.
Above board?
I mean, everyone's probably shaking their head right now.
Okay, that's fair.
Different relationships, which is kind of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
I don't talk to Sam like I talk to my female best friend.
Why not?
A little weird.
What? Okay.
Different audience.
Different audience. Well, I mean, maybe I need to not talk to other people the way that I talk to my female best friend. Maybe
do you talk to everyone the way you talk to me?
I mean, obviously there is like an adjustment period, like where it's like, you know, I kind of like test the waters, and you know, I start making subtle comments, and then I start like pushing the boundaries a little.
So you're not at work like, hey bitch.
No, I did call the building official guy like, yo, J Dog, and he was like, what? And I was like, I was trying something out, see if you liked it. He's like, I don't. And I was like, experiment over.
I am a totally different person at work from who I am with you.
Goodness.
Unrecognizable. Yeah.
Man, I wish I was that skilled, but I literally have to put on my resume like a bit emotional.
Well, you have customer service, Amy. I want to remind you of that life that you've blocked out. And she's a fake bitch.
Yeah, well, she also used to drink a lot. It was very self-loathing.
Yeah, I think that might just be your 20s, like compartmentalized into a
into a nutshell.
Yeah. Great on the outside, scary when you open it up.
But back to the thing, the friend thing. I forgot how you segued that conversation.
Relationships.
Those are weird.
Wow, that was smooth.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you brought up when we started to talk about doing this fun little guest episode, basing it around our friendship, but also the fact that we're long distance best friends now.
Yeah. Well, I thought like, you know, in the past we've definitely touched on like how we felt together with our original podcast that, you know, kind of like blossomed into this podcast, right? And like I think that's all like really cool, but I think a more important topic of conversation would be to discuss like how we've kind of like moved past that, because a lot of things happen between when we had the podcast to where we are now, and a lot of different other developments progressed out of our friendship, I think because of it. But you know, the obstacles along the way, and like me moving so far away, and then like even trying to like maintain our friendship and trying to branch out and create new ones, you know, like I think that would be something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah, and it's been super smooth, no issues at all.
Why are you lying?
Yeah, it's been really rough. So in like a quick high level view, we used to live together. What year was that? The last time you lived with us?
2017?
Oh, God.
No, that's not right. 2019.
No, it was 20.
No.
Yeah, 2019.
Wait, when did you guys get married again?
2018. Because
2018.
You had your own place for a year before we got married. Yes.
No, after you got married, I had a whole place.
Oh, wait, did you move out literally as we got married?
Yeah, because I told Jeff, I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to move out like this month. And he was like, that's pretty close to the wedding. And I was like, I know.
Yeah, like my stress brain just blocked all that shit out. I don't remember that timeline.
Yeah. I think it was 2018 the last time we like lived together.
Okay. So not too far, but it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since then, you moved to your own place still locally. So it's been in stages. It's not like you just moved across the country.
I think I moved back to Houston like 2020.
I think it was the beginning of 2020, like right before stuff hit the fan. And yeah. So
because that was like as soon as COVID happened, like Jake and I started like living together pretty much because it was COVID. Like couldn't really go to work or anything, and
now you're married.
And now we're married.
Oops. Yeah. All grown up.
But yeah, it was just a lot of weird, because I know like because we had a whole argument about me moving back to Houston well, not an argument, but like it was like a whole like I'm concerned about your actions sort of deal.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was like, it wasn't an argument. I don't think
No.
we've maybe like 2 serious arguments.
Yeah, but I feel like that was really early in our relationship. Like,
We were still figuring it out.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
eventually we're like, this is forever, so
But
whatever.
I think like those kind of arguments are like detrimental, like those serious arguments are like detrimental to any kind of relationship because that kind of like tests the water. It's like a stress test to see
Yeah.
like, is this gonna bounce back from like this disagreement or like the strain put on the relationship from these 2 opposing perspectives, you know? Uh I think that's why we have such a strong friendship is because like in the beginning, we weren't like fighting or bickering, but like we're 2 kind of really different people. And sometimes conflict could arise in that.
I think it's good points in general, and we made it. So I don't even remember the original arguments.
No, I don't either. I mean, I think that goes I think that's
That just
most
shows
people
it.
though.
Yeah, it was one
Yeah,
of
like
those
cuz I feel
5-year
like
rule things.
yeah, I feel like the only time you actually remember arguments with somebody is when you don't want to continue that form of relationship with them anymore.
Yeah, breakup
Like
arguments.
the
Like
breakup
the
argument.
fuel for the fire that is going to end something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, because nobody's ever talked about like friend breakups. Like, those are odd thing to like experience, And I know you've had a couple. I've definitely had one where it was like, what the fuck was that?
And it's so hard because it's not like a normalized thing. I think this is a good little sidebar in general because nobody talks about it like you being able to mourn for not being friends with someone. And
Yeah,
sometimes it's abrupt and it's like, I need you out of my life. This isn't healthy anymore. And then sometimes it is just that we're no longer, prioritizing each other.
well, like even like the aftermath of it was like what really like kind of what freaked me out. And I was like, I'm still. This is gonna sound so weird. Like I was like in love with my old best friend, but I was like, you're still in my dreams. Like it's so weird. Like I have dreams where like we got back to like we like made up and we're like,
We
I'm
got
sorry,
back
I got mad.
together.
Yeah, like we're like, I'm sorry, I got mad at you for this thing, and
But it's
I hate
because
that I said
yeah,
that.
that person was
I
important. So it's
yeah, and I think that I mean like it's kind of like mourning that loss, but also like, you know, uh, what's it called whenever you like at the conclusion of something
closure.
and closure, that guy. Yeah, finding that closure, even though like, sometimes friendship ends and you don't ever get the closure from that other person. And I guess it's
Yeah.
like your mind saying like, listen, it needed to happen. Like maybe in your mind you can say like, hey, all is forgiven, water under the bridge, like we'll go our separate ways. I hope you have a really good life. Like maybe for me, that's what my brain was trying to do with that individual.
Well, I
You
think
know,
it's trying to create like a closure and then like a solution that I didn't fail in this or like it's not my fault this isn't working out because you tend to go like where did it go wrong or blah blah blah. A lot of
yeah,
the time it's not like a success or fail thing with friendships. It's more of like people change or you've figured out that this is no longer a good person.
yeah, or a good person for you
Yeah, yeah. And
necessarily.
that can be in the context of like the larger overall just bad guy or
Yeah, because like
like
my friend that I had, like she was very like open about her bad decisions, right? Yeah, like that friend was really open about her bad decisions. Like, she was sleeping with people she shouldn't have been sleeping with. Like she maintained relationships at work that were probably inappropriate. Like sometimes I feel like she made allowances for me because I was a really close friend of hers. That she probably shouldn't have. And then ultimately, like she was like a manager, and then we ended up like me, her, and another girl that we all worked together, ended up living together. And like most companies are not cool with that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like, there was a lot of things that she was like very transparent about. And I was like, well, so long as she's like, not lying about it.
She's doing bad things, but she told me.
Yeah, but you don't like that starts translating into like, oh well, if she's doing that to that person, or if she's like that to around this
Yeah.
kind of situation, you start seeing it affect your actual relationship, and you're like, oh, this isn't good. Like, this is pretty bad. And like, I even remember trying to like maintain it and like let her know, like, I still want to be like friends, even though like this is getting really like bad and like it's making me want to do bad things. And it's like, it was a very clearly unhealthy relationship.
Yeah. I've had one similar to that where it more of was like I didn't see it for a while, that it wasn't a healthy relationship. And other friends in the same circle were like, well, not good.
Yeah.
Doesn't treat people good. I'm like, well, it's never happened to me. I haven't seen it. So I don't want to like place judgment on that. And then finally, like all at once, I saw the light and I was like, oh, all right. Egg on my face.
Yeah.
That was not a great choice.
It's like, it's so hard to think, like, I mean, I still have like insecurities about it because I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my God, what if she sees this? And she's gonna think I'm totally trash talking. And like, that's the last thing I want to do. Like, I actually like, I wish her the best. I hope she's like really soaring in life. She's a really smart girl. Like, and ultimately she was fun to be around. But like, it almost was like a very immature juvenile friendship. I think it's what it was.
Yeah. And I think that's probably most of what we're talking about because we're in our late 20s and we're coming out of a lot of those relationships. So whether it was high school into your early 20s, you run into a lot of those, like, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to have some wires crossed and it's going to be unhealthy. And there's a lot of like trial and error until you figure out this is what I need in a friend, or
right.
This is what works. And we long time ago had the conversation of how our expectation for like a friendship or a friend just doesn't translate to some people. Like they don't see it because we're very ride or die. Like if you find someone you like, you're going to be committed to that person, do whatever they need, expect the same in return. And that's not really like the standard anymore, at least like in what we were finding.
A lot of people don't like still like reference their friendships as like a package deal these days, where it's like, you're here to support me and like I'll be with my friends and you can be with your friends. And a lot of people like keep it separate and they compartmentalize like their relationships. And I don't think you and I have that in our skill set. and that I remember that was really coming out as a shock to us because when we both moved to where you are now, I don't know if you're disclosing your location, but
we're general north of Houston and south of Canada.
There. But when we were both there together for like the first year, I remember I was like actually getting on like apps and being like, let's find somebody to hang out with, like as if we were like one being trying to like build a relationship with some other stranger. Because we were like this package deal. Like, do you remember that?
I remember that. And it was like, why is there not like a friend dating app for two people?
Yeah.
That doesn't fucking exist.
Like, it's completely weird and wild. Like that's not normal.
I think it could be normal to be like, hey, friend group looking to add to friend group, even though it's a friend group.
That sounds like such a Craigslist, like
a weird
advertisement
scenario.
Yes. Like there's just no way that's actually healthy or like accurate like way to present yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's not how you can build a functioning relationship with somebody because you're like, yeah, me and my best friend would love it if you hung out.
a little too much upfront. I get it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I think confronting that reality for us was like kind of like, oh my God, are like, like that TikTok video was like, am I the bad guy? I can't be the bad guy. No, like it's that.
It's am I the drama? And it is am I the drama? And it's like, why? What do you mean I can't bring my friend to all these other events that I'm trying to go to?
I can think of so many times where it was just probably inappropriate for me to tag along to a lot of the things that I was like involved with.
Company barbecue. Lifetime ban.
let's just bypass that entire story.
That's just a failure in general, and you would have to pay us a lot of money to say anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Okay, moving on though, but I think that was like a huge stress test for us is when I actually moved away. And we had to confront now that we couldn't be so reliant on each other because we physically weren't in an environment where we could be together.
Yeah.
And like be like, hey, uh best friend, do you want to go hang out this weekend? Because we can't.
Yeah. It was weird because I was still kind of newly married and you were newly in a relationship. So we weren't like all alone by ourselves,
Yeah.
but it felt weird to be like, I'm lonely, but I'm living with the person that I love. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's a different relationship. Like,
Well, like that's a conundrum all on its own. Like being here now with, my now husband, you know, I still felt like really, really lonely because you weren't here and I wasn't there. It was like I'm with the love of my life, you know what I mean? But the other love of my life is so
there it
far
is.
away.
Oh, warms my heart. Yeah. And we joke about it all the time and like to make people uncomfortable with that kind of thing of like the love of my life and then here's my husband. But
Yeah.
there's soulmates at different levels. And I think a lot of people put all of their money on, no, there's only a romantic. But I think
Yeah.
you're meeting soulmates like throughout your life, different
Yeah.
time periods. And we're just two lady soulmates.
Two very, very clingy lady soulmates.
Yes. And it's healthy and no one can tell us otherwise.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's a very difficult process, like that separation, and then trying to like still maintain the relationship that we have together the best that we can, because you start thinking like, oh, I haven't called her this week, or it's been a few days, or like, man, I feel like the last time I called her, I only talked about me and I didn't really listen to her, and I really care what's going on with her, and all of that. And then at the same time, like, you know the relationship that you have that's long distance isn't as sustainable as it once was. So you now have to start building new relationships with other people. And that's a whole new stressor. Like
Yeah.
it's just,
It's
it's
kind of
rough.
it's twofold because like you said, you're trying to condense all of our conversation into like a once a week phone call, even though, we're texting pretty much every day.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. And then there's a lot of pressure put on it. And at the beginning, I don't think either of us were great at it because we had, stuff going on. We didn't know how to balance it. I'm not good at like picking up the phone in general. So that's on me.
No,
Um,
I don't even think it's that. Like I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm only calling to talk about me, and like, or I feel like, oh, I forgot to ask her about this, and like this just happened in her life, and I know she's really focusing on that. Like I start feeling like a selfish prick in our
well,
relationship.
you kind of are the worst. And this is the time that I'm going to bring up that I feel underappreciated, undervalued. No, I'm kidding. I get it because it's kind of the same thing. You want to be able to vent. We're very good at venting to each other and be like, listen, here we go. This is just
we built the foundation of our relationship on wine and wine nights. So it makes sense.
Yeah. And like kind of bitching about work at that point. And now it's trying to fit a whole week's worth of just life bitching into a day, which is hard. And then the meeting adult friends is just full of failure and feeling like there's no way to do this task.
Like they talk about like getting back out in the dating world is really hard. Like let's say the worst happened and we both end up having to get divorces and we have to go back into the dating world. That is nothing compared to how hard it's been trying to find another friend and the qualities that you had, and trying to see if I can't replicate that in another person. And that's really unfair to that other person. But it's like, hey, you got big shoes to fill here.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're trying to replace me, and that's probably not a good approach.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to replace you, but it's more like, I'm just trying to find some like, because like I have wonderful support here at home, but like you can't just have like your long distance best friend and your husband. Like you need like those other social interactions to be what I feel like is a well-rounded individual. Because like if you only have the two opinions, and these are people who love you unconditionally, right?
But they're going to be biased because they love you unconditionally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I want somebody to tell me if I actually look like fat in these pair of jeans or not. I don't want them to tell me that I would look beautiful in any size,
Well, and I guess it's more of just having that someone close to our own age that you can go hang out and do stuff with.
Yeah.
That's not in the like in your intimate relationship.
Yeah.
I love doing stuff with Jeff, but I gotta like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, and that's what I was saying, like, whenever you were like, hey, do you think you would have time to do this podcast this week? Honestly speaking, no, absolutely not. I don't have time at all. I really booked my schedule. Like, my dance card is full. And Jake was like, why didn't you tell her that, like, you have a lot of schoolwork to do and we got a couple of family things coming up this week? Like, why didn't you say no? I was like, because I wanted to do it. Because I just wanted to have some fun with my friend that I miss.
Yeah, the beginning sounds like I'm the villain, and I was like, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna like
you,
it. And then it
like
came,
you, yeah, no, you were very like transparent at the fact that like I didn't have to. And honestly, I feel like I suggested like, oh, if you need a guest, like, you know,
you had
will you invite me on your show?
And that, I think that was the origin of it. You had said that like a while ago, and it's kind of just been, you know, kicking around. And then this week was like, this would work. We could do this.
Like, I wish I had said that with like intentions of like, oh yeah, I've got this great material for you. That's not true. I just miss doing things with you.
There you go. You just gotta take your opportunity where you can.
That's all it is. This shit could never air, and I would still be like, yeah, it was fun.
It's still possible. It never will.
Fair enough. You have not cleared it with Sam, so I understand.
Yeah, for our listeners, this is a surprise for good old Sam. He is out having fun, out of town this week, and we'll see. We'll see if this content gets added, and maybe we can have, you know, fun little friend guest star episodes.
Fun little, oh, shimmy there, shimmy shake.
Yeah, where we.
Is this more fun for you, Sam? Do you accept this material?
And then he quit.
Is this working? Wait. Jazz hands, man. I threw in the jazz hands. Let it happen.
Those aren't even jazz hands. Those are like, I'm guilty. I'm sorry. My hands are up.
I'll spread them. Sorry.
The gun's in the trunk. I'm so sorry.
Why do you have a gun?
I don't know. Yeah, but it's good to air our dirty laundry on a public podcast. It is. It's great. It's very cleansing. I suggest it to everyone. But I think
all your shit out there on a podcast.
Hey, we kept some stuff like under covers, but I think it just kind of goes to like back to the main point of we've grown with our relationship. Like I think a lot of, and this can apply to a lot of relationships outside of platonic, people don't grow together or like accept that the dynamic is going to change a little. Because when you moved, I could have been like, dead to me, fucking not worth that effort. But I went, oh, I value this person a lot. I love them. I'm going to figure out how to make it work. Yeah. And as you get older, and we're saying this like we're fucking 70 and we're like, when you get older, but
well, I think there is definitely a lot of growth that happens between being like 21 and then being like 27. Like there's a major shift.
It's only it's only 6 years, but it is a roller coaster.
Yeah,
man. Just like shaking our heads.
Yeah.
Like shit. That was kind of a lot.
I don't know, but I hear what you're saying. It's just, you know,
growing. But I mean, what would you say our biggest failure was
in the long distance thing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think it's the biggest failure. I think there's just been like a lot of little mistakes here and there. And there's not like a manual that they give to friends who have to move away from each other and say like, okay, here, this is how it's going to work. If y'all really want to do it, like make sure you study up, make sure A, B, then C sort of deal, you know? Like it's just you're going to make mistakes along the way and you're going to learn like, you know, when I wasn't working an 8 to 5, like I would call you as soon as I got off, and that would be like 2 p.m. I'm like, of course she's not available at 2 p.m. It's Tuesday. She's at a meeting. Like, and it takes a lot of like scheduling, a lot of communication, a lot of effort on both people's parts, and then a lot of forgiveness. And I think like I can't really name our biggest failure, but I can name the fact that we tend to be very forgiving towards the other when someone's unavailable, or when someone's like just like not able to be there for the other because they do have so much going on that you haven't been able to tell the other person, and you want to get that moment to do that, but right now you're kind of going through the thick of it.
Yeah, and I think that comes with, I guess, time in a relationship or just familiarity, that when something like that happens, say I call you, I have like a crazy thing going on, you don't answer. I don't automatically go, that fucking bitch, or how dare she, or assume the worst of like she's avoiding my calls, blah, blah, blah. I go, she's busy. She's gonna call me back as soon as she's ready. And then I'm gonna tell her what I was planning to tell her.
But there's even been times where like, bitch, I forgot to call you back. What was it?
Yeah.
And you're literally like, I don't know.
But
I was really mad at the time.
An effort was made.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing you can hope for, is just to continue making the effort, and then know that, we may never live in the same city again,
Don't say those words. Don't say that.
But I do know that regardless of where we're both at, different time zones, different cities, different states, different countries, whatever it may be,
it just keeps getting worse.
Sorry. the effort will always be there. And I think that's like, what we're discovering, and at this part, like through this phase of our relationship, is, like Jake and I have this thing, and this is kind of slowly how we led up to marriage, where it's like, I want this as much as you do, and until one of us wants it a little less, then we'll go our separate ways. No ill will, live your best life sort of deal. And like I still like want a really functional and connective relationship with you, because you're my best friend, in case you didn't already know.
I mean, I know, I definitely know, but I get it. Like, I think another thing is some people are probably like, well, they're lucky. And part of it is it's a little bit luck to find that person.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of effort when you see kind of that spark in someone. And I've had other best friends, like I'll air that out. I've been with other people, Amy.
You're not a friend virgin. Oh my God.
My first friend at 22.
You were 21, so shut up.
Was I 20? I think I just turned 21 when we met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had just turned 21 because I had just turned 20.
Oh, little babies.
6 years strong, babe.
Oh, we need to have an anniversary. Anyways. This is fine. Yeah, we were young when we met, but I think it was good. We were both at interesting points in our life.
Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I had just gotten out of my friendship breakup. So like,
I was also fresh out of a breakup.
Like,
a different guy.
I don't know. Do you think maybe we're such good friends because we were both so wounded when we met, and we just slowly healed together?
Are we figuring out we were each other's rebounds for different types of breakups? And it's a trauma bond? Trauma bond?
A trauma bond might be it.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm fine with it now.
I do want to clarify for the audience, not all trauma bonds are good trauma bonds.
There's a small little footnote.
We got lucky there.
Yeah. Well, and you were saying earlier that like not everybody is lucky in finding like a soulmate best friend, or even a soulmate like spouse or partner, whatever you may have. And I think you kind of make your own luck when it comes to that kind of stuff, though. Like, I don't think like you just fell into my fucking lap, or that Jake just like landed right there. I think I think it takes a lot of hard work. I think you really have to, if you want it and you think this person is like worth it,
Yeah.
but like, hey, for the record, audience, like, just because you don't think that person is worth it doesn't mean they're not worth anything. Don't be rude.
You can't define others' worth. And you shouldn't, I guess that kind of an offshoot of your relationships don't define your worth either. Like how many
absolutely.
you have, or at this point in your life, the quality of friendships. I've heard a lot of people say, whether it's like in the media or just, random videos and stuff, how they don't have any quality friends in this period of their life. It's normally younger people. Like you move somewhere new, you don't have anyone to lean on, feeling kind of alone. It is a universal thing because I think all of us have felt like that at one point or another. And I don't want to tell everyone the blanket statement of like, you'll figure it out. It's gonna be fine. But on the same coin, like I remember a time in my life within a year of like meeting you where I did feel pretty hopeless. Like was pretty alone, cut off a lot of friends, a lot of ties, was starting over and didn't feel like it was going to get better and felt like a failure because I couldn't figure out as like a 20-year-old how to make new friends. And you feel like it's going to last forever. And then within that year, I met Jeff, or I guess I already knew him. We became partners. And then I met you like shortly after. So I got 2 soulmates for the price of 1 year.
Well, some of us had to wait for our secondary soulmate, okay?
Yeah,
that's a big secondary.
Not to brag on my timing, but that's another good point, is it's not going to happen the same for everyone.
But I think it would be kind of cool to like note, like, because like I said, I think it does take work. You have to find, that person that you deem is like worth it. So I think in saying that, you have to define what the qualifications are in that individual that you need in order to, do that work and make those changes for yourself so that you can come together and maintain that relationship.
And I think it's twofold. You have to yourself, like they say in relationship kind of stuff all the time, you have to be ready for those kinds of relationships. But then also you do have to kind of go through some shitty friendships, some failed friendships to go, I don't like that. I don't like that behavior. I don't like that attitude. I didn't like how they did this or that. And then when you go look for a new friend, you can see those warning signs a lot quicker and go, I'm gonna go over here. And
I think I think Sam said it once where he was like, you take a little bit from each relationship you ever have, and you keep doing that until you build the one that is it. It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like build a bear, it's not like build a relationship, but it's like you take the lessons and opportunities and failures that you experience from each relationship, and you just do what the world tries to do naturally, and it just becomes better. Like, at least healthier, the healthy way to do it. Well, you know what I mean? Like you just keep learning and growing.
And it's okay to build a bear your expectations. I think what you were saying is you can't build a bear person. You're never going to find a person that is like every box is ticked. And that's romantically or friend-wise.
I think build a person sounds really cannibal-y. Like you just are like Frankenstein-wise.
More Frankenstein than cannibal, but I like where your head went.
I'm gonna eat you.
So a sidebar, we definitely edited some of this episode. One of our failures from our previous podcast, we got the feedback all the time that we giggled too much. And we just think we're funny. So that's the problem. That's why it's not going to work out long term. But for us, it's great. It's great content.
I've enjoyed it. I'm having a good time.
It's been good.
It has been really good.
Any kind of parting wisdom or things you want people to think about when they think about friendship and failure?
I think it's, I think it just boils down to like being kind to yourself, being kind to others. Not everything's going to work out. And also it's okay to grieve when it doesn't work out. You made an effort towards a relationship and you're trying to find this connection with another person, and it's got to be okay if it doesn't work out. And sometimes you'll find somebody that's, fits those brackets and they're worth the work, and, they see you as worth the work, and eventually it all works out. I don't want to be like a whole, like, sometimes it be like that, but
but sometimes it do.
But sometimes it do, and it's pretty great when it does. So
I think it's great advice, and people can kind of pick and choose what applies to them and their situation, and eventually you find kind of that person. Yeah. So when do we run away again? Are we gonna wait till our 40s?
I don't know, dude. I still gotta pay this mortgage.
I don't have a mortgage, so I'm free now.
I don't know. I'm so tired. I have so much things I gotta do. I do want to run away. Let's just go. Oh, I don't have a car anymore. You have to come pick me up.
Together with our forces combined, we will run away.
I will start walking down the street if you come pick me up.
That's gonna be a long walk, babe.
It is gonna be a long walk until you get to me.
You'll probably be to where you want to go by the time I get to you.
I'm gonna be 20 minutes on the highway by the time you're able to get me. I'm such a slow walker.
Just like shuffling.
She said she'd be here.
Well, with that beautiful view into our relationship and all that great advice we may or may not have given you, I'm gonna kind of wrap it up for everyone and give us our parting words. For Friends of Failure, me and Sam, you can check us out on all social media, Friends of Failure, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff. Making so many faces over there. I love it.
Sorry, I was listening to you.
You're
an active listener.
I can tell.
Sorry. Stop. This is water, by the way.
I hope it is. I mean, it seems like it's something stronger, but okay. You do you. Oh yeah, I gave that to you. I'm pretty sure.
You did. But you appreciate that.
That's perfect. It was a good touch.
Thank you.
And then my favorite part, and maybe I can get Amy to send in some of her stories anonymously. You can send us your fails at friendsoffailurepodcast@gmail.com or call into our voicemail at 916-304-3345. I feel like I'm using the long nails a lot more than I
are. I can feel it puts you in a mood. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I feel fancy, but I also want to take them off.
They feel off?
Not easily.
Oh. That sounds terrible.
It's not a good time. And I guess we'll just leave you with life is happening for you, not to you. So get out there and fail. Pew, pew.
Finger guns.
Pew. There she is.
If it's not I'm stronger than you, it's I'm wiser than you, I'm more loving.
Bye, have a great time.